Get ready for Hosts at Home, Adams Archives.
It's time for the game that takes you back in time. Let's go back. And now, here's the host of Let's Go Back, Scott Sternberg.
Okay, thank you very much, and welcome here to Let's Go Back. We have some great questions about the 50s, the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I hope you have your thinking caps on, because our players here to my right do. Nate, Steve, Shannon, how are you today?
Fine.
Ready to go?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ready to play?
Yes.
All right, Nate, tell us about yourself.
My name is Nate Kahn. I live in the Valley, originally from Jersey, grew up in Miami, been out here about 8 years. And I'm just beginning a new project, manufacturer's rep, baseball memorabilia, that type of stuff. And also I collect baseball cards.
You do collect baseball
Oh yeah,
cards?
that's how I got hooked on it.
How many baseball cards do you have?
At one point it was up to about 500,000.
A 500,000 cards?
Yes.
Do you still have 500,000 cards?
I've pared it down considerably over the last few months. I've gotten rid of quite a bit of the extra, the stuff that's not worth as much, and try to get more of the stuff that is.
So how many do you have now?
Probably somewhere between 250, 350,000.
What's your most valuable card?
Nolan Ryan rookie card.
It's worth?
The one that I have is worth about 1,000.
Oh, that's good.
In that condition, but it's in the safe deposit box.
Okay. Well, good luck today, Nate.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll have baseball cards as a category. You never know. Hi, Steve.
Hi.
Tell us about you.
My name's Steve Fryer. I'm originally from Russellville, Arkansas, now living in North Hollywood. I'm a legal administrator by day, an aerobics teacher by night, and around the clock, father to a very active 9.5-year-old blonde-haired, blue-eyed, beautiful daughter named Stephanie.
Oh, you're busy.
Always.
When did you get into aerobics?
About 8 years ago, I was very, very, very overweight. Started taking classes, lost 80 pounds, and then started teaching.
Wow, 80 pounds. Good for you, yes. Well, it's for Steve. Congratulations. How about now nostalgia? Which decade are you the strongest in?
Favorite and strongest, probably the 80s. That's
Yeah.
when I became a parent, and that's my favorite decade.
Oh, how nice, how emotional, how moving. I think that's great. Good luck to you today, Steve.
Thank you.
Hi, Shannon.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Tell us about you.
I'm a mother of 4 and homemaker from Thousand Oaks, California.
How many? 4?
4.
Oh, that keeps you busy.
Very busy.
How about nostalgia for you?
Well, it's a tie. 70s is when I was free and wonderful in my high school and pre-marriage years, but 80s is when all my children were born, just like Steve. That's a real sweet time for me.
So 70s and 80s.
Right.
Now, we also know that you were on the Linkletter house party. Is that true?
That's right. I said one of the darndest things.
Did you really?
I don't think I ever made it in his book or anything, but I was one of the children that was picked up in the limo and spent the day with Art Linkletter.
And you'll always remember that.
Always.
And you know what you'll also always remember?
What?
Your time here on Let's Go Back. I'm sure.
That's right.
All right. Good luck to all of you. Let's take a look at the categories now for round number 1. And starting at the top, we have Songs of the Cinema, Military TV, Musical Weather, Film at 11, and Blast from the Past. 10 points now for each correct answer. We'll take the 10 away if you are incorrect. We also have a time capsule hidden behind one of our decades, and we have a prize there. Charlie O'Donnell, would you please tell us what it is?
The most popular of party games can now be yours in this time capsule with the one, the only Donkey Party Game. Just take the large cloth donkey game sheet and hang on any wall or door. Then cut out as many as 24 tails with the donkey game scissors, which of course are included, and have a ball. Don't be a butt. Have the Donkey Party Game ready to go. It's yours if you're right. Scott?
Okay, Charlie, the Donkey Party Game available in this round on Let's Go Back. We drew some numbers, and Nate, you won. Therefore, a decade and a category. Let's go back.
Let's go back to the 50s for Film at 11, please.
In 1950, America became involved in the Korean War when the Red Army crossed South Korea's border at this parallel. Nate.
38th parallel.
Correct you are. Go again.
Thank you. Let's go back to the 50s for Blast from the Past, please.
It is the New York landmark where Holly Golightly liked to go for breakfast. Nate?
Tiffany's.
Yeah. Good. Go again,
Let's
Nate.
go back to the 50s for Songs of the Cinema, please.
In the 1959 movie A Hole in the Head, Eddie Hodges sang a duet about his high hopes with this crooner. Steve.
Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, Frank Sinatra. Okay, Steve, you're on the board. Go.
Let's go back to the 80s, but stay with songs of the cinema.
Marlene Dietrich made her last film appearance singing the title song from this David Bowie film. Just a Gigolo. All right, Steve, still in control. Go again.
Let's go back to the 80s in musical weather.
Look around. There's a patch of snow on the ground in this Paul Simon song the Bangles recorded in 1986. Nate.
Lazy.
Oh, you know what? I know you know it too, Nate. Hazy Shade of Winter.
That's it.
That's what you wanted. We're going to take a break now. Round number 1. Nate and Steve with 10. Shannon not on the board yet, but we will be back with more of round number 1 right after this, so don't go away.
Once again, more of Let's Go Back with Scott Sternberg.
Okay, in the middle of round number 1, Nate 10, Steve 10, Shannon yet to score, and Steve, you had the last correct answer. Why don't you pick a decade and a category? We will continue.
Let's go back to the 80s and blast from the past.
Though she'd set 5 world records in 1982, her Olympic hopes were tripped up by Zola Budd in 1984. Steve.
Mary Decker.
Yes, Mary Decker.
Blast from the past in the 70s.
Agnetha, Bjorn, Benny, and Annie Frid had their biggest hit with Dancing Queen. Steve.
ABBA.
ABBA.
Let's go back to the 60s and blast from the past.
Finishing off this category, 10 days after she divorced this man, Liz Taylor married Richard Burton. Nate?
Eddie Fisher.
Yeah. You remember that?
Yes.
Okay.
Too well.
You have an Eddie Fisher baseball card? No?
Jack Fisher.
Okay, Nate, go.
Thank you. Let's go back to the 60s for military TV.
This show about an army platoon in Europe was led by actors Rick Jason and Vic Morrow. Nate.
Combat.
Yes. Good show, too.
It
Go
was.
again.
Let's go back to the 50s for military TV, please.
Rin Tin Tin kept peace on the frontier with the help of Lieutenant Rip Masters and this orphan. You don't remember Rusty?
I remember it. I couldn't think of his name. I used to watch it every Saturday.
Okay, Rusty on Rin Tin Tin. And Nate, again, pick.
Let's go back to the 60s for musical weather, please.
In this hit, the association wondered, who's creeping down the streets of the city? Steve.
Windy?
Yeah, it was windy. Can you sing a little of that?
You really don't want me to.
No, I don't. Okay.
Let's stick with musical weather 70s.
In their 1971 hit, These Two Things Always Got the Carpenters Down. Shannon.
Rainy Days and Mondays.
And you're on the board, Shannon. Congratulations. Okay. Shannon, go again.
Let's go back to songs of the cinema for the 70s.
We May Never Love Like This Again was sung in the movie by Maureen McGovern just before the fire started. Nate.
The Poseidon Adventure?
No. The movie was The Towering Inferno. Shannon, go again.
Let's go back to Film at 11 for 80s.
John Hinckley's unsuccessful assassination attempt on President Reagan took place outside a hotel in this city. Shannon again.
Washington, D.C.
Yes. Why are you so concerned? You have that look on your face. It's right. You go again.
Let's go back to Film at 11 for the 70s.
The 1972 Olympics were scarred by a terrorist attack in this European city. Shannon again.
Munich.
Yes, 3 in a row now for you, Shannon. Doing well. Go.
Let's go back to the 80s for military TV.
China Beach earned an Emmy for this actress who played Lieutenant Colleen McMurphy. Shannon.
Kim Delaney?
No.
Oh.
Nate.
Dana Delaney?
Dana Delaney. Sorry, Shannon. Okay, Nate, go again.
Let's go back to the 50s for musical weather, please.
In 1958, Eddie Cochran sang There Ain't No Cure for These. Shannon.
The Summertime Blues. The Summertime Blues.
It's right. The Summertime Blues.
I didn't think that. I guess.
Well, you were on the spot. You answered correctly. You get the points, and you get to pick again. By the way, I just want to remind you, the Donkey Party game is still lurking.
Oh, my gosh.
Don't forget. Go, Shannon.
We'll go back to the 70s for military TV.
When MASH premiered in 1972, this was the only cast member to repeat his film role on television. Nate.
Radar.
Judges?
Radar O'Reilly.
I'm waiting for them to give me... No. Steve.
Gary Berghoff.
Gary Berghoff. We needed the name. We needed his name. Okay, Steve, go again. Two
Let's
left.
go back to the 60s, film at 11.
On January 4th, 1961, our diplomatic relations with Cuba were broken by this president. Steve.
Kennedy.
No. Shannon.
Castro?
No.
Could you repeat the question?
On January 4th, 1961, our diplomatic relations with Cuba were broken by this president. Nate?
Eisenhower.
It was Eisenhower. Correct you are. Now we got one left. It's 60s, Songs of the Cinema, and guess what, Nate? It's the time capsule. And you're on your own on this one. We're going to double the points. You're going to get 20 now if you're correct. We're not going to take them away. All right? And you have a chance at the Donkey Parting game. They'll look good next to all those baseball cards.
Absolutely.
Here we are. Songs of the Cinema, 60s. The Glory of Love was the theme from this 1968 film about an interracial marriage.
Guess who's coming to dinner?
Is right, Nate. Congratulations. 20 more points for you and the Donkey Party game. We're at the end of round number 1. Nate's got the lead with 50. Steve's got 40. Shannon's got 20. We have round number 2 coming up in just a minute. Don't go away. Back now with round number 2. Taking a look at the scores, Nate in the lead, 50. Steve has 40. Shannon has 20. Any last-minute thoughts before we continue?
No thoughts at all. No.
No, not at all. Just right over your head. All right, well, let's continue now. Round number 2. We'll take a look at the categories for that, and we go right to the top, starting with Film Night, Music Notes, The Royal Family, TV Hitmakers, and I'm a Believer. By the way, the Royal Family is British Royal Family. 20 points now for each correct answer. We take the 20 points away if you are incorrect. We also have another time capsule prize hidden behind one of our decades. Charlie O, tell us what it is.
Whether it's your favorite soda pop, chocolate milk, or apple juice, it will taste better served in this Elmer fudge glass set. Make sure each meal has Elmer and his wacky wabbit friend Bugs Bunny close by so you can enjoy every gulp. It's a once-in-a-lifetime chance to get these crazy cartoon characters on your team.
And I have this glass right here, and it could be one of our contestants. They have to answer the time capsule question correctly. He's cute, isn't he? All right. Let's see now. Nate, you had the last correct answer. We need another decade, another category. Let's go back.
Let's go back to the 60s for Film Night, please.
Richard Burton and Deborah Carr starred in the film version of this play by Tennessee Williams. Steve.
Night of the Iguana?
Yes. Remember who the director was?
No idea.
John Huston. Okay, just a little extra piece of material for you. Just write it down. Never know. Okay, Steve in the lead. Go.
Let's go back to the 80s, Film Night.
This was the first in a series of films that starred Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger. Steve.
Nightmare on Elm Street?
Good. Go again. 2 in a row.
Ooh, that's going well. Let's go back to the 70s, Film Night.
In 1978, A Night Full of Rain was directed by this first woman ever to be nominated as Best Director. Steve.
Wirt Mueller?
Yeah. Good for you, Steve. Doing very well.
Where did that one go? I don't.
All right, Steve, good. By the way, we just want to let you know that your score has been changing a little bit. We now have the correct score up. You do have 100. You are in control. Pick again.
Let's finish up that category, Film Night in the 50s.
To Remember was a dramatic recreation of the sinking of this luxury liner. Shannon.
Titanic?
Yes, it was. Go again, Shannon.
Great. Let's go back to the 80s for the Royal Family.
On July 21st, 1982, he became second in line to the British throne. Nate.
Prince William.
Yes. Go again, Nate.
Thank you. Let's go back to the 60s for Music Notes, please.
Quincy Jones discovered her and produced her record, It's My Party. Nate again.
Leslie Gore.
Yeah. Okay, Nate. Good. Go again.
Let's go back to the 50s for Music Notes, please.
Barbara Ellis, Gretchen Christopher, and Gary Traxel comprised this group which recorded Come Softly to Me. Nate again.
The Fleetwoods.
Yeah, you know your music, Nate. Good. Go again.
Let's go back to the 70s for music notes, please.
For 6 weeks in 1972, Gilbert O'Sullivan had a #1 hit with this lonely song. Steve?
One.
No. Nate?
Alone Again Naturally.
That's right, Nate. Congratulations. Good answer. And you have the lead now with 130. Go again.
Let's go back to the 80s for music notes, please.
All right, closing out this category. In 1980, Kenny Rogers recorded this #1 Lionel Richie composition. Shannon.
Lady.
Yes, it was Lady. Go,
Okay,
Shannon.
let's go back to the 70s for the royal family.
This member of the British royal family competed in the 1976 Olympics. Steve.
Princess Anne.
That's right. Remember which event?
Equestrian. Was it?
Yes, it was. Go again, Steve.
Let's go back to the 80s for TV hitmakers.
And it's the time capsule, Steve. All right, this is now going to be worth double points or 40 if you get it correct. You will take over the lead. You also have a chance for the Elmer Fudd glass set, something that I was holding on to earlier. And you're all by yourself on this, Shannon and Nate. You got to sit this one out. Here we go. 80s TV hitmakers. Recorded for an episode of Miami Vice, You Belong to the City was the biggest hit for this founding member of the Eagles.
Henley.
No. Glenn Frey.
Oh.
Good try, though. You're still in control now, Steve. Go again.
TV hitmakers in the 70s.
This actor exploded on the music scene with his #1 hit, Don't Give Up on Us, while starring as Detective Ken Hutchinson. Shannon.
David Soul.
David Soul from Starsky and Hutch.
Great. Let's go
Shannon.
back. Let's go back to the 80s for I'm a Believer. I'm interested in that one.
All right. 2,075 couples were married once in Madison Square Garden by this Korean religious leader. Steve.
Moon.
Yes, Moon.
Let's go back to the 70s for I'm a Believer.
This former encyclopedia salesman was the founder of Est. Nate.
Earhart.
Yes, Werner Erhard. Nate, go again. 150 in the lead.
Let's go back to the 60s for I'm a Believer, please.
The Beatles searched for absolute bliss consciousness with this Indian guru. Nate, again.
The Maharishi Mahesh Yogi.
Absolutely correct. Good, Nate.
Don't ask where they're coming from.
Okay, Nate,
Let's
go
go
again.
back. Let's go back to the 50s for I'm a Believer, please.
Finishing out this category. Beginning in the 1950s, millions were saved by attending or watching his crusades on TV. Steve.
Billy Graham.
It was Billy Graham. Steve, now 140. Go again.
Let's go back to the 60s TV hitmakers.
This group became a TV phenomenon when they hit the top of the charts with Last Train to Clarksville. Steve.
The Monkees.
Yes. Can you name the Monkees?
No, I can't.
You can't. Nate, you can?
Peter Tork, Davy Jones, Mike Nesmith, and Mickey Dolenz.
He knows his Monkees. All right, Steven, you're in control. Only 10 points behind Nate now. Go again.
Let's go back to the 60s, the royal family.
In 1960, he became the first child born to a reigning monarch since 1857, and that's Nate.
Prince Charles?
No. Thinking. Shannon, you're in.
Prince Andrew.
Yes, Prince Andrew. That's right. 100 now for you, Shannon. Go again.
Let's go back to the royal family in the 50s.
In 1955, she couldn't marry Peter Townsend because he was a divorcee. Shannon?
Princess Margaret.
Was Princess Margaret. Good, Shannon. Last question now.
Let's go back to the 50s for TV
Oh, you
hitmakers.
go ahead and pick.
Yeah, let me do it. Okay.
Last question now, round number 2, 50s TV hitmakers. From 1953 to 1957, Giselle McKenzie was the lead vocalist on this popular music show. Nate.
Your Hit Parade.
Is right, Nate. Good answer. And with that, Nate, you take over the lead. You have 170. Steve, right behind you, 160. Shannon, 120. Good game. We'll be back to find out who our winner is going to be when we play the final round, our Decades round, and we'll do that right after this. All right, time now to find a winner for the final Decades round, and it was a good game. You guys had a lot of good answers, a lot of points on the board. Nate, however, first place for you, 170. You need 4 correct answers for the win. Steven second, 5 correct answers for the win, and Shannon, you'll need 6 correct answers to win. Whoever does gets $500 in cash, and I need all your answers in the form of decades. Ready to go?
Yes.
Ready.
First question. In which decade did Marlon Brando have his last tango in Paris? Shannon.
70s.
Yes, 1973. In which decade did Dobie Gillis first fall for Thalia Menninger? Nate.
50s.
1959. In which decade did John Updike begin his trilogy with Rabbit Run? Steve.
The 60s?
Yes, 1960. In which decade did Apple introduce the computer Mouse? Shannon.
70s.
No. Steve.
80s.
Yes, 1983. In which decade was the establishment of OPEC? Steve.
70s?
No. Nate.
60s.
Yes, 1960. In which decade did doctors first use the CAT scan? Nate.
80s.
No. Shannon.
70s.
Yes, 1972. In which decade did Billy Joel first tell us it's still rock and roll to me? Steve.
70s?
No. Nate.
60s.
No. Shannon.
80s.
Yes, 1980. In which decade were the first quartz watches marketed? Shannon.
60s.
Yes, 1968. In which decade was the creation of the Environmental Protection Agency? Steve.
70s.
Yes, 1970. In which decade was the creation of the first UN peacekeeping force? Nate.
50s.
Yes, 1956. One more, Nate, and you will win the game. In which decade did John Lennon and Yoko Ono co-host The Mike Douglas Show? Steve.
70s?
Yes, 1972. One more for you now, Steve. In which decade did Ford discontinue the Edsel? Steve.
50s.
1959, and Steve, you won the game. Congratulations. Good round. Very good round. $500 now for you, Steve. Congratulations.
Thank
Very
you.
exciting. One of the best rounds we've ever had. Shannon, did you have a good time?
Yeah, it was really fun. Thanks.
Yeah? Good. Thanks for coming. Nate, you did a good job. A lot of good answers. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
And I'm going to say to you that I'm Scott Sternberg, and we hope that you'll join us next time on Let's Go Back. We'll see you then. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.